I've been to many conferences for private investigators where the attorneys were the keynote speakers, lecturing to the investigators on what the attorney expects from their investigators. But I've never heard of a conference for attorneys where the private investigator was the keynote speaker, advising them what they expect from the lawyers. For example, several years ago I attended a dinner in Orange County for private investigators. The keynote speaker there was a world-renowned defense attorney. He opened up his speech by saying, and I quote, "I despise ethics, and I expect my investigators to go onto the dark side for my clients," close quote. 6 months later, that same attorney was indicted, and now he's a convicted felon, no longer able to practice law. Shortly thereafter, I attended another dinner banquet for investigators in Rancho Cucamonga, and that San Bernardino-based attorney said, and I quote, "I don't want any witness statements that are hurtful or harmful for my clients. I only want you to document and give me statements that are helpful for my cases," close quote. I was recently having a conversation with some fellow colleagues, and they were sharing with each other some of the frustrations and ethical dilemmas that they were having with their own attorney clients. Let's talk about a few of those. The following is what a private investigator is not to do for their attorney. It is not to cuddle or coddle a young client's mother or family. It is not to act as a social worker on behalf of the client's family. It is not for us to spin the facts. That's what jury trials are for. It is not to fabricate evidence. It is not to create reasonable doubt, but only to expose it if and when it's discovered. It is not to render an expert opinion that's knowingly not true. It is not our job to encourage witnesses that are harmful for our case to not be available for trial. It is not to be emotionally driven by an attorney or emotionally attached to the client. It is not to foolishly waste the client's money for things like conferences that are not necessary. This usually only happens when the attorney's not paying for the investigation. It is not to get an alleged victim on a criminal defense case to recant their story and change their statement to fit our theory. However, there's nothing wrong with getting them to recant from a lie to the truth. It is not for the investigator to be treated like a genie in the bottle or a jack in the box, supposing that we can just do anything upon their request. It is not to work beyond the retainers given or beyond our contractual agreements. It is not to be expected to run around like a chicken with our head cut off. We must remain focused on the facts. We must try to get what is applicable, relevant, and hopefully, moreover, admissible in the court of law. In closing, I do want to give thanks and much appreciation to the current client base that I have right now. All of these attorneys are wonderful people, and none of them would expect me to do anything that is wrong, and I can't say enough thanks to those current attorneys that I'm working for. And last, but most certainly not least, it is not our job to do anything unethical or illegal for our attorneys or the clients. This is our open cases. I've always said that our open cases, our files and our cases have faces. These are lives of people, and we really do care for them. But they need to understand we cannot bend the rules and do anything unethical for them. According to the California State Bar Association, an anonymous poll was taken by lawyers, and I quote, 60% of their attorneys believed that many are compromising in professionalism as a result of business and economic pressures, close quote. I understand that in America, the economy is slow right now, and in this nation there is one attorney per every 190th adult. But I will never accept an attorney to expect an investigator to lower their bar and become fiscal prostitutes. I'm Bill Retz, High Caliber News, Redlands.